Hey everyone, it's Eric here from MacFix. This beautiful Thursday. Today, it's Thursday afternoon. Yeah, it's Thursday. It's actually the first of the month. I'm recording this on August 1st. I don't know when I'll post the video, but it's really nice outside. It's very, very hot. We get a lot of rain. We're in the Northern Virginia area, so it gets very humid too, and we're right outside of the nation capital, DC. We got this one. This is just somebody came by, dropped it off. We also get mail-ins as well. We actually have all the contact information in the description. We do MacBook liquid spill repairs and logic board issues. We just handle basically everything Mac, and we also do data recovery. So imagine that. So we got one of these in here today. This is the A2251. This is a 2020 MacBook Pro. This isn't quite the M1 version, but there are multiple versions. For 2020, there's M1, and then there's still the Intel. Yeah, so it's in here actually for data recovery. It's not in here for a typical repair. And you're thinking, well, what's really the difference? Why would someone be in here for data recovery? Why don't they want to fix their device? That's a great question that someone just asked. I think that guy. Wait. Well, actually, the ceilings are pretty high here. You can probably see it there. But we heard that, right? You heard that. Somebody asked it. But anyway, so what's the difference? So when we look at this, right, this is your open logic board, and this is what you're going to see most of the time when you see anything 2020 and above, and there's some other older models that will be like this. Well, they'll have everything here. So everything is here. There isn't no separate SSD. There isn't no separate modular pieces. It's just a logic board that has RAM, has SSD, which you can see some of the NANDs are actually here, right? The little silver ones there, they're there, and I'm trying to just look at the camera, and there. And you can't just easily remove them, put them in, and it'll work. That's not how it is. So everything's basically integrated to these boards. On the M1 versions, it's similar how everything is integrated, but it's more integrated because it's more like a phone, like your cell phone. It has the same type of processor in it. It's just bigger, and it has like a keyboard and other connections to it, so you have more things and like a backlight and stuff like that. So there's more to that. What's similar to both of them is also there's a security chip. On this one, there's a T2 chip that's a separate chip, and on the M1 versions, there's a security chip that's integrated into the processor. So when you have that, or if you have any damage to them, if something happens, there could be a problem with that firmware and that risks the data. Most of the time we focus on just grabbing data, right? Because that might be the thing that we need to do first. And if you've seen a lot of repairs, when we do repairs anyway, in the first place, some of them do require resetting firmware because the voltages look fine, but the T2 is compromised. And it will say, nope, nobody gets through. I don't care who you are, I'm panicked because liquid damage, because it's a short. I don't trust anybody. So it says no one gets through. Full reset actually wipes data. So that's why we like to always ask people too, are you concerned really about your data? And another thing is if it's a liquid spill, right? When you have a liquid spill, liquid damage, when you spill something, it goes on top, right? And it goes on top, it could be in the crevice here, it could be on the touch bar area or keyboard because you knock your juice, you knock your drink, whatever. It goes down here, it hits the keyboard, and then it also may hit the touch bar, which also has a firmware and other things. And it may not only be a logic board issue, but then it could be maybe the keyboard gets impacted, maybe the battery gets impacted, maybe the LCD, especially on the 15 and 16 inch, are very expensive. That gets impacted, right? So some people just say, you know what, I just want to focus on getting my data. And that's what we do. So there's lots of things, we've shown lots of videos already talking about this before, but let's focus on getting the data out. So what do we get when we plug this in? So you want to see on both sides. Oh, just reset. That's not good. That actually does mean something. So reset. Okay. So let's see. This is a liquid spill. Okay, so you see that this is giving different readings, how one was blinking, one wasn't. Usually when you get a blinking reading, that usually means the CD32 is impacted inside there, which is basically what handles the USB-C circuit. So and over here we get more steady, 5 volts, 0.25 amps, which is steady, it's not resetting, but that one port was resetting. And when you have 4 ports like this one does, that means there are 4 USB-C circuits, and those 4 USB-C circuits all have to be working, right? All those chips have to be working. If one fails, boom, you can't use it because none of them will work if you have one. If one's got out, they're like, well, I'm not working, I'm not going to work today. If you ain't going to work today, I ain't going to work today either. So that's kind of how they work. They're very stubborn. So we need to fix one so they could be a leader for all. So. All right, so let's get into this. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to pop the board because we see a little bit of corrosion on the side there, and I know I've talked a little bit for a little bit too long, but I'll probably leave it in because I think you guys are interested, at least for ranting, for something like this. So let's open up the board and get right to it. So lift it up, and we flip it over, and yep, what do you know? Right, the board looks clean outside of just the area that it was blinking, right, where the charging circuit is. So you can see over here, these are CD32s. So we'll go under a microscope because it's hard to see exactly the corrosion, but maybe the corrosion is really bad for these ones. So let's go ahead over, and I guess we can pop this out too, just to make sure. Usually when you see blank in a no reading, that usually means that this is damaged, right? Like the port itself is damaged because there's no reading. So there's no reading means there's no connectivity. But yep, that looks to actually be pretty good. You guys can really see it, I don't matter, but because it's already good. And so let's go under a microscope and take a look at the damage. So we look here, this is where the area was damaged. Now we flip it over, this is where your CD32s are. You see liquid damage, man, both of them, all of them. It's like an ocean, looks like the ocean blue. There, so we have a short. So hopefully it's just in this area, unless it got underneath, because if it gets underneath, then you have a bigger problem. So let's go ahead and look underneath, right? Because this is where around the circuit is. We'll just do a little, I think before we get into that, let's just check the rest of the board, make sure it's okay. Right, there's our damaged area. What about like our ISLs and all the other ones? Let's see. Well, it looks clean, looks good. So if we look under here, we can see it's a bit crusty. So for something like this, what we want to do is we want to do a reflow because these ones are usually programmed. Apple makes it just even more fun that you can't just buy a chip and then put it on there. You might have to use one that's very similar to this. We grab a donor board that is it because it has a program to it. That's just how they work. I don't know why they do this stuff, but I do know why they do this stuff because they will make it hard to fix, right? And they want to just make sure that you have a nightmare, especially liquid gets underneath your BGAs, and you have 4 of them, so there's a higher chance of failure because you have 4. So we want to do a reflow on this because we're going to hope that's going to work, because what that's going to do is it's going to clean underneath, and unless there's a burn, that would be different. That's when we have to do replacement. You have to probably reball it or something like that. So we can try replacement on them, but usually no success to that, to the luck when you do a replacement of a generic one if you just buy one, because that's just how it is. That's how they do it, they program it. So let's go ahead and do a reflow and see if it works. So we have the board view. This is just showing our CD32s. This one's a U3100. It's the same one, pretty much either way. So what we need to do is we're going to go ahead and clean up the other areas, because even when you clean the CD32, if there's liquid damage or corrosion, you're still going to have a problem. So we need to clean that up. And we're going to go back to this one here because it's more surface damage. You don't really see too much damage that's underneath. So we're going to go ahead clean it up a bit first. And make sure nothing else gets pushed underneath, because when you do any type of flux or using any type of hot air, you could be pushing dirt underneath, and then when you refill the BGAs, it can be giving an issue. Sorry, it's a little bit not centered there, but we clean that up. We just reflowed it there. Everything looks to be good, so let's go ahead and test it. There we go. Let's get our tester. Let's plug in enough, right, because we're mainly just focused on extracting data. 5 volt, 0.25, switch to 20, which is great. Amps kicking in, so you get the fan spin, or do you get an Apple logo? The least, the fan spin. All right. Probably charging the battery. A very messy screen. Have to wipe this down after. See anything? Fans are still spinning, but nothing yet. Get that towel out of here. So we're getting about 0.8, 0.85, 0.84, and it's on, and there we go. Well, it took a little while, but it's on. Okay, so hopefully we can get to the screen there, and boom. Okay, so good. Looks like we got to the screen. Let's make sure we can log in. So it looks good. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna put in the thing and extract the data. Hey everyone, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching doing this data recovery on this MacBook, the 2020 A2251 model. This is the last Intel one that they made for these ones. We're still able to get the data. Good thing no firmware issue this time. Looks a little bit more straightforward, but we're just able to extract it. We just put the data on like an external device. We have like a 1 terabyte. Looks like there's about a lot of data. There's like 500 gigs of data. There's a lot of stuff on there. We just move it over to it then, and it should be all good to go and format it. So PC and Mac, that's the way we like to do that here. So hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a like below. It just helps us a lot. Again, we're located in the Northern Virginia area, right side of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. We do lots of liquid store repairs, we do data recoveries. We focus mainly on that, especially on Macs, as well as hard drives, SSDs. We have lots of cool stuff on the channel. especially USBs too. So you should go ahead and check that out if you guys are interested in see more data recoveries and other things. So hope you guys are watching, guys. Take care. Bye.